expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. I am an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. A beautiful expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. Magnificent expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. A unique, unrepeatable expression of God. 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 I am an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. I am an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. Right time, right place, an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit. I'm fabulous, I got it, an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit. A unique, unrepeatable expression of God. 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 I am an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. I am an expression of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit, of the Spirit. Yes, you are a unique, unrepeatable expression of the Spirit. You got it. What a great song that is. What a great reminder that is of who we are and what our unique divine nature is all about. So thank you for joining me. This is Unity Comox Valley, a positive path for spiritual living. Well, we've all had to make adjustments these days, haven't we? And you know, one of the biggest ones for me is not saying good morning. Because what I know from talking with you and hearing from you is that lots of you watch this service on Sunday evenings or even sometime during the week. And that's great. That's great. It's wonderful that they're on our website and they're accessible anytime, any day. The other thing is I've shifted from calling them Sunday services for the same reason, because I know that they're not always taking place for you on a Sunday morning. And you know, in our 5 impact areas at Unity Comox Valley, one of them, the first one is gathering and celebration. And that's really what this is all about. This is when we sing together, we pray together, we learn together, we connect with each other, heart to heart, soul to soul. And that is not limited to any day of the week or any time slot. So thank you for being on this growing spiritual journey with me. It is my honor, my joy to serve Unity Comox Valley in this way. Growth happens when we let go. I'm sure we all remember our baby teeth falling out so that our adult ones can come in. And as we shed old or limiting beliefs, we are making room in our consciousness and our lives for something greater to emerge, for touching that place of all possibilities. And it's really, really important that we are continuously letting go, releasing, and making more room for the good. So before we go into our opening prayer, I invite you to bring to mind some old belief or limiting thought that you have that maybe you could just entertain the possibility of letting go. To be willing to
see the possibilities that there might be something else better for you. So let's just hold that as we go into our opening prayer. Please join me. We always start with some way of reconnecting or reminding ourselves of our divine nature. And so sometimes breath is very helpful in that way. Being quiet or closing your eyes is another way that we can pull our attention and draw our attention inward. We know that God, that infinite source, is all around us, also including us, within us, and expressing as us. And so as we tap into that, as we rest in that, we are renewed, we are revitalized, we are refreshed, because we're in tune, we're attuned with infinite source. So in that place of peace and wholeness and all good, we could set down that old thought, that old message that we may have been carrying with us. Like pulling out a weed. Not roughly, just gently jiggling it a little bit, pulling it out, and then what do we have? Room for something else to grow. So we give thanks for our ability to do this, to consciously and mindfully review the garden of our consciousness and see where there are some things that aren't really serving us any longer. And so we give thanks for our willingness to grow, to expand, to truly transform our lives, so that we can let our light shine a little bit brighter for ourselves and for others. So in this state of gratitude and grace, we claim this is so, and so it is. Amen. I hope you are enjoying hearing and the daily word, hearing and seeing someone from our spiritual community share the daily word with us. It's been a wonderful addition to our celebration services, and we've really enjoyed Joseph and I filming people and just having a quick little chat at our spiritual center while they do that. So right now we're going to hear and see Tina Manders as she reads the daily word for today. And then after that we will have our next song.
Good morning. I'm reading from the Daily Word for September 13th. The word of the day is love, and the affirmation is, I open my heart in love. I express the love I feel in my heart by showing my affection and giving nurturing attention. I speak loving and positive words that let those I care about know how much they mean to me. As my words affirm their goodness, beauty, and intelligence, I watch those qualities bloom like flowers blessed by sunshine. I extend my arms and embrace my family and friends with the warmth and comfort of unconditional love. I support my loved ones with compassion and care on their journey through life. I share my wisdom as I teach, my experience as I advise, and my understanding as I console. I pray for those I love, knowing that the Christ within them is the light that guides them everywhere they go and in everything they do. I'm grateful for my role in my loved ones' lives. And this comes from 1 John chapter 3, verse 18. Little children, let us love, not in word or speech, but in truth and action.
I am spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. Flowing like a river of peace. I am nature's wonder and child. Left cannot be added to me. I am made complete in the divine. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. There's magic in every day, like a beautiful song. As I'm choosing my way, there's a voice inside to guide me along. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led. Everywhere and always I am spirit-led.
This week we are continuing our series on the 12 powers, our 12 spiritual gifts. You know, I enjoy preparing these talks so much. It doesn't matter if it's the first time that I've spoken on this topic or the 10th time. I always learn so much. When I started this 12-week series back in August, I thought, I'm going to invite some of my Unity Minister friends to participate. And so then, of course, the next question in my mind was, so who should talk about which topic, and what order should they go in, and all that kind of stuff. And then I just stepped back and I thought, seriously, Vicki, there's a power at work in their lives that is greater than anything that I could come up with or plan. So let me do it this way instead. I put out the call to these friends of mine, and I said, doing a series on the 12 powers, choose the one that you would like. And so I am left with, if you want to call it that, with not my favorite ones necessarily, but with the ones that were unspoken for. But as I said, I do enjoy researching and exploring these topics so much, and even more so topics that I probably wouldn't have chosen for myself. So the fact that I am giving the talk on divine order right now, today, is actually an outpicturing of divine order. The most evident expression of divine order is visible all around us, and that is our natural world. We can observe nature in a very orderly way. Each day, the way each day unfolds, the sun rises in the east, always. The moon goes through its cycles. And every season we can see and rely on the order. You've noticed that the leaves are already starting to turn. The plants have their cycle. There's parts of our gardens where those plants that we put in the spring, they're finished. And we take those out and we're planting other things that like the cooler weather in the fall and the winter time. The crickets are blasting out their love songs. And, I had thought, I was pretty sure that that's what they were doing, but, I wanted to check. So I went to Google, of course, and I put in something like crickets sound or something like that. And I just have to share with you, it was very interesting what I found. Two completely different takes on the topic of cricket's noise. So the first one that I happened to see was CDs, lots of CDs and songs, or I guess not songs, soundtracks of crickets. And it's like, sleep with ease with crickets, and 10 hours of the nightly sound of crickets to lull you to sleep, and all these wonderful, ways of enjoying the cricket sounds. And you might have already guessed this, on the other half was how to get rid of crickets, how to make them stop making that noise, special earplugs and blinds for your windows and things like that. So I don't know, it's just kind of funny how we all look at things differently. We are all impacted by things differently. And then have you heard the geese this week? In the last couple of weeks? I'm sure you have. You can hear the honking start, and then if you're lucky, you can catch a glimpse of them in the sky as they talk to each other, communicate with each other, and create their formations for their long migration south. Order is all around us, and it happens naturally. I have a poster, I think I've probably mentioned this before, in my office to remind me about this. It's a quote by Lao Tzu, and it says, "Nature never hurries, yet everything is accomplished." Nature never hurries, yet everything is accomplished. The rain doesn't hurry. The river doesn't make an effort to flow to the sea. It just follows its natural course. The leaves don't struggle to change color. They just do. Nature is efficient. Everything is accomplished and unrushed. The reminder to me is just this is why I have it right in my office, so I see it all the time. It's like, if nature can accomplish all of that without rushing, without hurrying, without effort, then certainly I can accomplish my little things the same way. So why don't we? What's the difference between us and the leaves and the geese and the crickets? There's a big difference. There's a big difference. We have been given the gift of choice. We talked about this last week. It's one of the aspects of our divine power of will. We have more than instincts to direct our actions. We have reasoning powers, and we have the ability to analyze things. We also have the ability to reflect and remember the past and step back from a situation so that we can see the bigger picture, so that we can see the many options. Many years ago, many years ago, I had canaries. I got these two little young canaries. They were very sweet and really brought a lot of joy into our household. And then one day, they were a few months old, I looked into their cage, and in the bottom is a little egg just sitting on the bottom, on the paper on the bottom. And so I hurriedly, no internet back then, anyway, I got my canary book out and read what's going on, what should I do? And what I was told was that they're ready to, nest and bring some young into the world. And so what I did is I went to the pet store and I bought this little teeny box of 1-inch long cotton threads that they could access through a little hole, and a little plastic thing that looked like a nest, and stuck that in the cage. Well, over the next 2 days, those two little canaries pulled out those little threads and lined that little dish, that little bowl, and and then they would line it again, and then all the threads were going in the right direction, and then the mom, I guess, sat on it. It's like, no, it's still, the hole is still too big, and then they'd line it again, and within 2 days there was a perfectly formed nest. And the next day there was an egg in the next nest, and over the next 3 days there were 3 more eggs there. Now then, of course, short time later, they hatched. Next thing you know, they're feeding their young. When the mom was on the nest, the male would feed and then come and feed her so that she could sit there without moving off the nest. And I thought, they've never done this before. Maybe they remember their nest when they were born, but they have never made a nest before. They've never figured out how to do that. They've never seen a little egg break open with a little teeny baby canary in it and known how to feed it. And yet there they were, accomplishing all of this perfectly. Now, how are we different from those birds? Well, we have our own ideas about how things should be done. Those birds did not discuss the location of the nest. They didn't discuss how big it should be or if it should be higher or lower. They weren't counting the days until those chicks were born. They didn't decide who's going to feed and who's going to sit on the nest. Only we would do that, right? Yes, we can easily see divine order in nature. And it is also really important to remember that the divine order is at work in our lives and in ourselves. If we want to cooperate with divine order, then we need to start at the beginning, which the word order implies. Like a recipe, there's an order to follow. Some of you know that Joseph and I started on a plant-based eating. We're vegans now. We started that in January. And in our household, Joseph prepares the meals and I usually make the desserts. So now, okay, no eggs, no butter. Well, I went to the internet, looked up vegan desserts, and there's thousands, so there's no problem there at all. But instead of usually making my usual, concoctions by heart, I actually had to follow the directions. I had to get a recipe and follow the directions. Now, I can think that step 4 should go before step 2, or it would just seem right to me, that it should be done in this way and not in that way. But if I don't follow the directions, I'm not going to get the results I'm looking for. I had a few disasters. Well, they weren't really disasters, but they weren't all that tasty. But now we got it down pat. And one of the reasons is because I follow the order of the recipe. So for most of the things in our lives, there is an order that will bring us the results that we're looking for. There is an order. I can cooperate with it or not. It's my choice. It's my choice. So what are the steps to establishing divine order? What comes first? Well, instead of acting first, it's best to first establish ourselves in divine mind, in universal energy, in God mind, whatever name you want to call that, to realign ourselves with our infinite potential. In Unity, we have a way of doing this, which is through prayer and meditation. This is our 4th principle. We do it several times. Every time we gather in celebration, anytime we have a meeting, our board meetings, our team meetings, we always incorporate these 2 elements. And this is why. We always start there. Being still, bringing our attention to our divine nature, to the source of all good, the place where every question is answered, where every need is met, every idea originates. This is why we go there. This is why we start there. And it's the first step in bringing divine order into our lives. Once we've got ourselves rooted in source, then ideas flow. Possibilities emerge. What follows is vision and clarity, which always brings better results. Like washing our windshield before we get into our car and start to drive. That's the first step. Then we can see where we're going. You know those maps in the mall? When you go into a mall and there's a great big map that has all the different floors and all the different stores and everything like that. And so we come in and perhaps we're looking for a shoe store. So we find the thing on the map, shoe store is in, G4. And then we look on the big map and we find G4. But the part that's missing, we can know where we want to go, but if we don't know where we are, then all of that information has no value, has no use. We wouldn't know which way to turn, whether to go to a different floor, if we're going the right way or not, unless we know where we are. That's why it's always important that I love those maps when they have a big star. It's like, you are here. It's like, okay, now I know how to proceed. And that is what prayer or centering does for us. It puts us back to square one, to the source, so that we know where we are. And we know where we are, that the source is not outside of ourselves, it is within us. It cannot be separate from us. We carry it with us wherever we go. So if we take time to check back into source, we will never be lost. We'll always know which way to go. So that's step one. Once we start down the path that has been revealed to us, there will be many adjustments to make along the way. It's not a straight line. It's not always a straight line. I would venture to say it's never a straight line. Think of all the turns, twists and turns your life has brought you so far. Different homes that you've lived in, different jobs that you've had, relationships have been formed and dissolved. We are never going to know the whole path. What we are looking for is the next step. That's order. Like the headlights on a car, it reveals what is close, what is right before us, but it does not reveal the entire journey. This process of activating divine order is not hard. We know how to do it. We just forget sometimes. I am a doer. I tend to start with action. So I have had to train myself, and it took time, and I'm not always successful, over many, many, many years, to center myself first, to rest in the field of all possibilities, and then see what is mine to do, what the next step is. We can do it. We can all do this. And we will get some clues provided for us when we are trying to impose our own personal order instead of allowing divine order to express. So struggle, disharmony, weariness, all of these are clues that we might want to take some time, go back to source, rest for a moment, and receive some insights or direction. We might need to adjust what we're trying to do. Sometimes it's a matter of timing. Timing is an aspect of divine order. Perhaps it's not what you're trying to accomplish, it's just not the right time for that to take place. To everything there is a season. These are very wise words. I'd like to close with a quote from this book. Your God-Given Potential, Unfolding the 12 Spiritual Powers by Winifred Hausman. And she says, a divine plan is unfolding through you now. You have a magnificent purpose on this planet Earth. It is your contribution to the uplifting of humankind. But this plan needs to unfold in an orderly manner that will result in consciousness development for you. So two things are being accomplished at the same time. On the one hand, the plan is showing you how to serve, and on the other, you are growing in awareness. So we'll take time now for our prayer and contemplation.
the silence I can feel the love. In the silence I can rise above. In the silence I can hear the voice. In the silence I am home. In the silence I can feel the love. In the silence I can rise above. In the silence I can hear the voice. In the silence I am home. In the silence I can feel the love. In the silence I can rise above. In the silence I can hear the voice. In the silence I am home.
Yes. In the silence, we can feel the love. In the silence, we can rise above. In the silence, we can hear the voice. In the silence, we remember that we are whole. Let's keep this in mind as we move into this time of prayer and contemplation. This time when we bring our awareness of this still, perfect point of silence within us, where we bring it more into our awareness. We know that it's there all the time. It is who we are. It is inseparable from us. And often we forget. So I invite you to breathe deeply. Just a wonderful way to bring ourselves to that centered, still place. That place where we remember our oneness with all that is, with all good, with all possibility. That place that holds the answer to any question. That place that holds the comfort for any anxiety. That place that holds the awareness of abundance. When we are limiting ourselves by our circumstances or our situation, we are whole. We are abundant. We are blessed. We are wise. We are grateful. Let's just breathe into that for a moment. Declare those for yourself. I am whole. I am abundant. I am wise. I am joy. Express some of that gratitude into your physical body, the vehicle that allows you to move and be on this planet at this time. What a gift it is. You can start with your toes, perhaps wiggle them, say, yeah, hey there, thank you. Move up your legs, your torso, your arms, your head. Sense of appreciation to your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your throat. Our body responds to our words, to our appreciation. We energize in the vitality of divine life. Give thanks. In the silence, we are whole. And as we bring our awareness back into this time and this space, that we bring that wholeness with us. That we express it in our words, in our actions, in our decisions. I am an expression of wholeness. Take time every day to remember this and discern how you can express this no matter what your day looks like, no matter what's in store for you, no matter what you have planned. We can bring this wholeness into manifestation wherever we are. And as we do, we bring more light into the world. We bring more joy into the world. We bring more peace into the world. And what a gift that is. Not only for the world, but for ourselves. And so with gratitude for the opportunities that present themselves to us to be the light, to be the wholeness, to be the good. For all of this, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
In the silence I can hear the voice. In the silence I am home. In the silence I can feel the love. In the silence I can rise above. In the silence I can hear the voice. In the silence I am home. In the silence I can feel the love. In the silence I can rise above. In the silence I can hear the voice. In the silence I am home.
I like to reserve this space for you to share a thought for the day. If you have something that you would like to include right now, please email it to me at info@unitycomoxvalley.com. It's a wonderful way that we can still hear each other's voices and really be connected with each other. I do have one for today, and I'm going to use it as our closing prayer. Last Thursday, we celebrated World Day of Prayer at the Spiritual Center, and it was a beautiful, peaceful experience. We had 4 hours mostly in the silence, reading prayers from the Silent Unity Prayer Service, and people came in and stayed and left, and it was a beautiful experience. So thank you to the prayer team who hosted this event. Well, I invite you now to bring to mind a blessing that you have recently experienced, something that made you smile, and hold it in your heart. And while you're doing that, I invite you to think of something that you have given recently that made someone else smile, and bring that into your heart. We are in the flow of giving and receiving, and we know that as we participate with this flow in giving and receiving, that we are abundantly blessed. Would you join me now in our love offering affirmation? Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you very much to those of you who have sent your contributions to Unity Comox Valley. Last week, and in our newsletter, I made 2 requests, and I'm really hoping that everybody responds to them. So the first one is a song request. We have over 70 songs in our copyright license that we are allowed to use, and lots of them we have not sung since March. And so please let me know what your favorite song is, what you're longing to hear. And if you don't know the title, even just a phrase or a few words, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to figure out what it is. And then we can hear it on Sunday. The song that we heard before and after the prayer and contemplation today was one of those song requests. And at the World Day of Prayer, someone mentioned, we haven't heard Draw the Circle Wide for a while, so I'll be incorporating that next week. So please send me an email, info@unitycomoxvalley.com. Let me know what you'd like to hear. I'd love to include that in the service. The other request I made is for another photograph of you. We did this back in March, and now it's been 6 months. And we would love to see perhaps a different picture of you. And also what Joseph is making possible is to include a few words. So if you'd like to send a little short message or just a few words that are really important to you right now, along with your picture, we'll be able to put that all together and start showing them in our celebration services. That's such a great way to see each other and connect with each other. So we're going to close now. And what I'd like to do is to use a prayer from one of our co-founders, Larissa Rollins. If you opened your newsletter this week, you'll see a picture that I included of her there with her big, beautiful smile, and a very special person in the history of unity in the Comox Valley. So let's be still and listen to her words. I open to divine grace and allow it to fill me now. I am living in the flow of divine grace as I move through my life. Divine grace is holding me now. I trust divine grace to give me everything I need. I am overflowing in the fullness of divine grace. Thank you, Larissa. And so it is. And now our closing song.
Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my health, Spirit, thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit, thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. Thank you for my life, Spirit, thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit, thank you for my life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit, thank you for my wealth. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit, thank you for my wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for this day, Spirit. I want to thank you, I want to thank